Hey everyone, it is great to see you here once again on Dee's Delights. Today I'm going to share two different donut recipes with you. The first one will be Krispy Kreme and the second one will be crispy and creamy. So they're a little bit different. The Krispy Kreme is a little lighter, a little sweeter. The crispy and creamy is denser, more of a cake-like, and it also has a really sweet glaze that goes on it, but the donut itself isn't quite as sweet. So it all depends on preference. I prefer the Krispy Kreme, the first one that I'll be sharing with you. One thing I do recommend is to use these up within a 24-hour time frame. They are best when they are fresh and first made. And when you do store them, put them in an airtight container, put a little parchment paper underneath, store them in that airtight container to help keep them. After 48 hours, you might as well toss them because they're not going to be any good, in my opinion. Now, if you want to keep them around and use the leftovers for something, that's fine. But I enjoyed the Krispy Kreme. I enjoyed the other one, the crispy and creamy too, but it just was a little too dense for my liking. So what I would recommend is try them both. See which is your favorite, and also there are plenty of different icings that you could put on these too. You don't have to go with what they show here in these recipes. There's strawberry, there's peanut butter, there's chocolate, there's all kinds of icing that you can put on these donuts to make them come alive. So first we're going to start with the Krispy Kreme recipe, and after that it's going to follow the crispy and creamy. So thanks for joining me here, and let's get started. So tonight we're going to make the Krispy Kreme recipe, and I believe that would be a lighter donut, not quite as dense. My husband requested this, and also my mom says those are her favorite donuts. So let's get started. What we're going to need for this recipe, for the donut part of the recipe, is 1 1/4 cup whole milk. I have that measured out. 2 1/4 teaspoon instant quick rise yeast. That's just one packet. It's 7 grams and 1/4 ounce. We're going to need 2 large eggs, 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter. They want that melted and cooled. So I'm melting it right now so I have time to cool it. 1/4 cup granulated sugar. Right here it is. 1 teaspoon of salt. And oil for frying. The other night I used oil, but I put it in the skillet, and I had a harder time regulating the heat on a skillet. So tonight I'm going to do my deep fryer. What we're going to need to do first is heat our 1 1/4 cup of milk in a medium-sized bowl. Put it in the microwave for about 40 seconds, I believe, 45 seconds. Okay, I'm going to stir it in there gently, and then just kind of let it set for about 5 minutes. So we're letting that set for 5 minutes, which gives our butter time to cool. This recipe says use a stand mixer fitted with the dough hook. So I do have the dough hook in here. Went ahead and got my eggs ready. That way I have all the ingredients ready to go. We have what we need to use next would be our 2 large eggs, 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter, which I'm cooling, 1/4 cup granulated sugar, I got that here, 1 teaspoon salt right here, and 4 1/2 cups of bread flour. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and put this in. It's been about 5 minutes. Put our 2 large eggs. Our 8 tablespoons of unsalted, melted, but cooled butter. Our 1/4 cup granulated sugar. And we are going to pour half of the flour mixture in. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'll scrape the sides down a little bit again. Get all the flour off the sides. I'm just going to put the rest of it in there and see if that's enough flour. If not, we're going to add a little bit more. I forgot to put my salt in there, so I'm going to sprinkle that in real quick. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll take take it off of there. What I'm going to do now is take the hook off of here, and I'm going to put a towel over top. We're going to let it sit for about an hour. Okay, our dough is done rising. It's been about an hour. So it's bigger than it was in the beginning. We're going to flour our countertop. A little flour on here, and our rolling pin. Let's get ready. It says to pour it on out. Okay, she doesn't say anything about kneading it together. Let's see, when dough is done rising, pour it out onto a well-floured surface and roll it to about a 1/2 inch thickness. Let's do it. I'd say that's about a 1/2 inch. Then we're going to cut it with a donut cutter. Okay, we're going to gently knead together the rest of the leftover dough. We don't want to overdo it. And we'll do the same thing. See a little donut hole here. Tell you what, I'm going to do this first. It says that's supposed to make about 18 donuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I got 16 out of it. Place the donuts on parchment paper, leaving room to rise between each one. Cover the donuts with kitchen towel and let them rise in warm place until they are puffed up, which will be about 45 minutes. So I'm going to move these apart so they have room. We're going to cover our donuts with a couple of tea towels. In about a 1/2 hour, I'm going to warm up the grease so it's ready when the donuts are done. All right, well, we're going to start putting donuts in 2 at a time. We're going to be very careful so you don't stretch them. The deep fryer has heated up to 375 degrees. Put them in the deep fryer. It's only going to take about 45 seconds. Then we're going to flip them over. Okay, we'll take those out and put them on the rack. Put 2 more in. So we got that done. Here are my misfits. Those are the ones from the re-rolled dough. I got a few of these little donut holes. Some of them turned out good. Others look a little deformed, but that's okay. For the icing, we'll need 4 cups of powdered sugar, 1/2 cup of milk, whole milk, and a pinch of salt, which is between an 1/8 and a 1/16 teaspoon. So I'm going to put 1/2 of an 1/8. Put that in there. We'll mix that together. Now, if you would like your icing to be thinner, you just add a little bit of milk at a time. Just about a tablespoon at a time, they suggest. Let's dip in a donut. Now it says on one side, but you know what? I like it on both sides. So I'm dipping it on both. Yeah, that's good. And if you need more icing, just make more. Oh, this this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Now next, after this, I'll show you how to make cake-like donuts, and it's also gonna have a different icing to it. It's gonna be a thicker, not really a thicker, it's hard to explain, but it will definitely be different than this, because that one we're gonna heat on the stove. Probably just wanna let them set for maybe about 15-20 minutes. Let's try one and see what we think though, you know? Should I wait till it gets, no, I'm not waiting. It's starting to get thicker already. Yes, I think I like these better. But some people like the cake donut.
Yeah, so, these are better.
You like
as
these?
As far as texture.
Yeah, well you can't taste the difference, but the texture is more of a lighter texture.
All right, I'll be right there.
Did you want one?
Not a whole donut.
Sure, you want me to cut it? No, I didn't dip these in the icing yet. Some of these look, look at that.
Abby, I'll try it when you dip them in the icing.
You want to try a little ball here?
Yeah.
Come here. Just take a little bite at the end. Oh, that was a big bite. What is it going to be? What's it going to be? 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down, 1 up, 1 down, 2 thumbs up. All right.
Can you chew that?
Thanks, guys. Yes, so I like these donuts a little bit better than the cake donuts, but everybody has their own preference. So I'm pleased with the way these turned out. Slowly the glaze will thicken, but I hope you enjoyed this evening and I hope you enjoy your donuts. Have a great day, everyone, and I hope to see you real soon. Hey everyone, it is great to see you here once again. I am going to make, for the very first time, crispy, creamy donuts. I have 1/4 cup of water and I gotta make sure it's the right temperature. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this before we get started because I don't want it to cool down too much. And then I'm gonna explain to you what you need. All right, in this 1/4 cup of water, I am going to sprinkle some active dry yeast. 2 packets, which are about 1/4 ounce each. Let's see, does that have a place it tears? Okay, it says sprinkle the yeast over warm water and let stand for 5 minutes. Okay, I'm just gonna let it stand for about 5 minutes. I'll put it off to the side. What we're gonna need for the crispy and creamy donuts is 2 1/4 ounce envelopes active dry yeast. And I bought them at the store and they came in like a packet of 3 individual ones. 2 of those packets. 1/4 cup warm water between the temperature of 105 and 115. So that's what I did, and I sprinkled that on, and what we want to do is let this stand for about 5 minutes or until foamy. This is my first time, so I'm going to do a trial run because Doug wants me to make these for church when he preaches down there. So we'll see. I thought I better do a practice run. All right, so we're doing that for 5 minutes. In large bowl, mix together the yeast mixture, milk, sugar, salt, eggs, shortening, and 2 cups of flour. Well, we gotta wait for the yeast mixture. So let's get the rest of the stuff. We're gonna need 1½ cups of lukewarm milk. What I did to make it lukewarm, let's see here, yep. I put it in the microwave for about 40 seconds. You don't want it to boil, but you don't wanna have cold milk and you don't wanna wait for a long time. Even room temperature here is only 68. 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 eggs, 1/3 cup shortening, 5 cups all-purpose flour, 1 quart vegetable oil for frying. Well, this is bigger than a quart, but you know, a quart's 32 ounces. 1/3 cup of butter. I have those over there with 2 cups of confectioner's sugar. And we're going to need 1½ teaspoons of vanilla, and then at the end we're going to need 4 tablespoons of hot water, or as needed. So at the end we're going to be making the glaze, but for right now we'll see how that yeast is coming along. I always like to crack my eggs first, put them in a bowl, so I'm sure that there's nothing wrong with them before I mix them in with my mix. Well, let's go ahead and start putting our milk, sugar, salt, eggs, and shortening in. So in a large bowl, mixed together, we'll put our yeast in here in a minute. We got our lukewarm milk, 1.5 cups. Our 1/2 cup of white sugar. 1 teaspoon of salt. Our 2 eggs. Our 1/3 cup of shortening. And 2 cups of flour. We can go ahead and put the yeast in there. Okay, it says mix for a few minutes at low speed. Whoa, that's not low. I went the wrong direction. We'll do it on 2. Wow, thankfully there was a lid there. Okay, we're going to beat in the remaining flour, 1/2 cup at a time. We are going to now knead the dough for about 5 minutes. So when you take it out, it's going to be a little bit sticky. So just put a little bit of flour on your countertop and a little bit sprinkle over top. And that'll make it pliable instead of sticking. Just do this for about 5 minutes, which will seem like an eternity. I'll put a little bit more flour here, just a little bit. Now we're going to place it in a greased bowl and cover and set in a warm place until the dough rises and becomes double its size. So I think I got it nice and smooth. I'm going to put it in a greased bowl and we'll see how long it takes to come to double its size. So I'm going to cover it up. I'll set it right here and I'll be back. The dough has been rising for about an hour. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of powder on the countertop here. We're also going to put a little flour on our rolling pin. And I have a little donut. Mine's really cheap, but it'll do the job. Plastic little donut thing. Has all different attachments to it. So let's get it out and roll it. Let's just kind of beat it down a little bit, deflate it a little bit. Sprinkle a little bit of powder on top. Reminds me of working at Pizza Hut many years ago. Spread out the dough. We're going to get it down to, I think, about a 1/2 inch in thickness. This is supposed to make about 18 donuts. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We got close to 18. Okay. Let's cover them up, and we're going to let them set for about an hour. I'm going to put my leftover dough. Oh my lord, oh my lord. I just set that on my donuts. Oh my gosh. Jeez Louise, Tanya. I can't believe I just set my bowl on top of my donuts. Okay, I totally forgot they were there because they're flat. Sorry folks. I'm going to put my leftover donut dough in a greased bowl, cover it up and put it in the fridge overnight till I figure out what I could use this dough for. It'll stay good in the fridge for at least 48 hours. Boy, I'm going to have to remember I have these donuts under here. Okay. See you in about an hour. Next, we're going to go ahead and get the glaze ready. So we're going to melt butter in a saucepan over medium heat, stir in confectioner's sugar and vanilla until smooth. So let's get that started. So we need 2 cups of confectioner's sugar, 1/3 cup of butter, and 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla. That's what we're going to get started with. Then we're going to add in slowly 4 tablespoons of hot water. I'm also going to turn the heat on because I want to get that up to about 350 degrees. Some of my donuts are rising better than others. I've smushed them a few times, forgetting they were under there. So I'll start frying some of the donuts. Hopefully, my little donut holes seem to be rising pretty good. And the other ones will rise as I make them because I'm only going to be able to make about 3 donuts at a time. Yeah, probably about 3 is all I'm going to want to fry up at a time. So they'll slowly keep on rising. It's probably been an hour and 15 minutes since I let them rise this time. I'll turn this down once the butter melts. I want to get it started, get the pan heated up. We're supposed to heat it up over medium heat. But I'm in a hurry. It's like 10:15 at night. Crazy. Standing here in this kitchen making donuts. We'll stir in our 2 cups of confectioner's sugar and our 1/2 tablespoon, which is 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. I'm going to add some hot water. We're going to do it a tablespoon at a time. That already makes a big difference with just 1 tablespoon. So we're going to do it nice and slow. Do another tablespoon. That's 3. Let's do 1 more. That'll be good. Okay. Move that from the heat. We want this to heat up to 350 degrees. I'm going to do this one here first. That'll only take about a minute per side. They're getting to look like donuts. 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 I have a plate here. We just want them to brown. That didn't even take a minute. Might have been like 30 seconds. You gotta keep track of those. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on both sides and do it while it's still warm. I mean, you don't want to burn your hands, but you don't want to wait too long either. This stuff thickens up pretty quickly. I'm going to try one of these. Oh yeah, they got me holding through. Oh my. That is great. That is one good donut. Very good. My icing is thickening up, but it'll turn out pretty nice. Put a few little sprinkles, some toasted coconut, whatever you'd like, but I tell you what, they are good. They are good. Well, this is going to take you some time, folks, with waiting. Most of the time you're just going to be letting stuff sit and rise. Be careful with the grease. You want it to be about 350. It doesn't take long for that to get really, really hot. So be very cautious with the grease. You'll want to put your donuts in the glaze quickly because it gets hard real fast. So I'm going to let these set up a little bit. A little bit of sprinkles. I might put some in sprinkles. I know Jack would like those. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make donuts tonight. The grease in the house, I can tell there's like a cloud of smoke in here. I don't think it went too bad for my first time. So now I will be ready to make them when Doug preaches at church. I'll just take a batch of donuts down and I'll wow everybody with my cooking skills. Hey, thanks for joining me here once again on Dee's Delights. Have a wonderful week and I hope to see you real soon.